Every time I think about how I manage my money today, it still surprises me that nothing much has really changed since my first paycheck. Back when I earned $2,700 a month gross, I didn't have much to work with. But the way I manage my money, it's basically the same system that I'm still using right now. Through my corporate years, through years of being self-employed with a fluctuating income, and even now when I'm back on a fixed salary. Since we're heading into a new year, I thought this would be a perfect time to bring you through these principles, and for the practical part, I'll be showing you how I do it using my Notion finance tracker. But don't worry, you don't need the same setup. A simple Excel sheet or a wallet app on your mobile phone will do as well. What matters are the mindsets that I'll be sharing with you today, and once you lock in on these, the tools don't really matter as much. And no matter what season of life you're in, they'll keep you grounded every time your income changes. So without further ado, let's dive straight into today's video. Let's go. Just to give you guys a little bit of a background and maybe also as a form of encouragement for those of you who are in a similar situation. Before becoming self-employed, I was working full-time in a corporate job between 2020 to 2023, and my take-home salary after the 20% CPF contributions looked like this. Yes, I genuinely didn't see any amounts above $3,000 hitting my bank account until I went full-time into content creation. But honestly, I'm really glad things started out this way. I wasn't struggling or unhappy, but I also wasn't earning a lot. And that taught me the value of money just because it wasn't in abundance. My unfair advantage, if you can call it that, is having a dad who's incredibly frugal. He didn't lecture, he led by example, and naturally I picked up those habits as well. I don't spend frivolously, and I learned early on to save something, even if it wasn't a lot. So if you're in a similar situation now, earning less than your peers, wondering when things will eventually change, don't be discouraged. It's really not about how much you make, it's your money habits that will shape your future. You get your salary, you spend, you try to save whatever's left, and you feel guilty, so you try again next month and nothing really changes. Does this sound familiar? One thing I've realized over the years is that having an overarching financial goal for the year changes everything. It becomes your North Star. It guides the decisions that you make every month when your salary hits your bank account. It keeps you anchored, especially during months when you feel a little bit lost or when life gets busy. When you have one clear goal for the year, whether it's hitting a certain savings rate, building your 6 months emergency fund, clearing debt, or finally hitting your first 10K invested, suddenly your money has purpose. And when your money has purpose, your decisions become easier to make. For example, in 2025, my overarching goal was to maintain an average savings rate of 70%. For 2026, my goal is to build up an amount in liquid cash so I'm ready for my first property purchase. So sometime this month, over Christmas, during the New Year break, or even 1st of January after counting down, take a moment to choose your one financial goal for the year. Once you have that, the next part is breaking it down into a monthly system, which is where your salary flow, budgeting, and tracking comes in. Remember, what gets measured gets managed. That means if you want your finances to grow, you need to give yourself visibility. You can't improve the things that you are not aware of. But the moment you start tracking, even in the simplest way, your money starts working with you instead of against you. Let's start with listing down our net worth. The reason I ask you to start with your net worth is that it gives you a clear picture of your starting point before you plan your next move. So start listing things like your assets and liabilities, things like cash, savings account, T-bills, SSB, CPF if you want to include investments. Liabilities are things like your outstanding credit card bills, study loans, personal loans, and any debt that you still owe. Your net worth is not about measuring how rich you are. It's simply a snapshot of where you are today, your baseline. And because I've been tracking every single cent I have, it's easy for me to pull this number straight out of my Notion finance tracker. You can see it on screen right now. I'll do a full breakdown of my net worth early next year, like in my past videos. But even just looking at where I am right now, I already know a few things. If I liquidate all my investments today, I can put a down payment on a property. But that also means restarting my entire investment portfolio from scratch. And it's really not what I want to do. I still need to build up my cash pile because renovation costs aren't small and I need to plan for that as well. And I have to maintain my baseline fund of $40,000. I shared before why this number matters in this video over here, but in short, it covers $12,000 for 2 years of insurance premiums because giving up on health insurance should never be an option. 6 months of living expenses, $18,000 for a comfortable $3,000 a month, and another $10,000 just as a buffer. So now that you know your starting point, which is your net worth, the next step is to turn your big 2026 goal into something that you can actually follow every single month, and that begins with your monthly budget. Let's start with income. If you're earning a fixed salary, just note down how much you take home every month, the actual amount that hits your bank account, then move on to expenses. But for those of you who are self-employed, list down your income streams. It doesn't have to be exact, just an estimate. This helps you to set realistic budgets later on instead of guessing. For me, I'm back on a fixed paycheck this year. Yes, I'm employed again. My gross salary, $8,500. After CPF, the net amount that actually lands in my bank account is $7,017. I do receive some miscellaneous income every month, like dividends from my investments and interest earned, but I don't spend too much time forecasting those. They're nice to have, but not predictable enough for me to put a monthly plan around it. What matters more and where most of your clarity comes from is the next section, your expenses. Starting off with fixed expenses. Start by listing it all down, because this is the best time to review anything that you're paying for but no longer using. It'll also tell you exactly how much of your salary is already committed every month. For me, allowance to my mom, taxes, Netflix, Spotify, and insurance premiums. Even though I pay my insurance premiums annually, I'm just prorating that to allocate into my budgets. All of these are essential for me, but if you see any recurring subscriptions that you no longer use, this is the moment to cancel it. These small amounts adds up more than we realize. For example, if I don't watch Netflix, I know this isn't the best example because most of us do watch Netflix, but that's $15.98 a month. Over a year, it's $191.76 spent on something that I do not use. You might think this isn't even a lot to save, but the thing is, you don't need to save it. Imagine $200 going into something that you actually enjoy spending on. Wouldn't that make you happier? Wouldn't that bring you more joy? So take this time, sit down once and review it. You don't have to do it every single month, because unless you are a person who subscribes to new things every single month, then probably, but most of us will just do this one-off and you are set for the entire year. In my case, a total of $1,006.43 goes to my non-negotiable fixed expenses every single month. Now we move on to variable expenses, things that change month on month. This includes categories like food, transportation, shopping, medical, miscellaneous, travel, anything that isn't a fixed commitment. You're not punishing yourself by doing all of this, okay? The key here is to not be overly strict or unrealistic, just budget based on your own patterns. For me, food is the one category I allow myself more freedom in, especially when I'm in Seoul. It's literally the thing that brings me the most joy here. So I don't cap it tightly. Instead, I give myself a rough range that aligns with my savings rate goal. Your variable budget should feel clear but not restrictive. What I like to do is look at the past 2 to 3 months of spending. Your tracker will help a lot here. Find the average, adjust it slightly up or down depending on your 2026 goal. This makes your budget realistic because it's based on your actual behavior and not what you hope will happen. Once you have your fixed and variable expenses noted down, you start to see how much of your income is already allocated and how much is left for your goals, savings, and investments. In my case, my budget for January will depend on how December goes for me, while still keeping my 2026 goal in mind. After deducting my fixed expenses from my take-home salary, I'm left with $6,000. And December budget was also set based on what happened in November. If you've caught this video over here, I went into it in detail, but here's a quick example. For meals in general, that category is when I eat out on my own. I originally budgeted $200 for November, but I actually spent $387.11. So for December, I increased it to $400 to reflect what's realistic for my lifestyle here in Korea. Another example, for public transportation, I budgeted $100 for November, but only spent $18. However, this month, I know I'd be using the buses and trains a lot more, so I decided to finally buy the unlimited pass and I budgeted $60 instead. You see how it shifts based on what happened the months before and what I know is coming up in the next month. Your budget should move with your life, not against it. It's not about being perfect, it's just about being aware and adapting accordingly. So once you have allocated your fixed and variable expenses, whatever left becomes the money that actually moves towards your 2026 goal. And this is where your own goal for the year really shapes the rest of your plan, because everyone's allocation will look different depending on what they're working towards. For me, my 2026 goal, as I mentioned earlier, is to build up enough liquid cash for my first property purchase. Most of what's left will go into saving for that and the renovation sinking fund. But your flow might look completely different. If your goal is to build your first emergency fund, then move most of your leftover money into cash savings. To clear that, a big portion of it will go towards paying it off faster. To hit your first 10K invested, you'll prioritize setting aside a fixed monthly amount for investing. And if you are trying to maintain a certain amount of savings rate, you'll adjust your spending accordingly to make that percentage possible. There's no fixed formula. What matters is that your monthly decisions align with the direction you set for the entire year. And the most important part of this exercise is to pay yourself first. This breakdown helps you to see how your monthly numbers will look like, but when January and February comes, prioritize allocating these amounts first to your savings, your goals, your investments, before you spend on anything else. Your lifestyle should support your goals and not the other way around. And once your yearly goal is taken care of, whatever's left can go into investing or guilt-free spending. Your money should be moving intentionally, not accidentally. That's the whole point of having this monthly plan. I've been tracking my money for years, literally every cent, and the reason I rely on this system is because it gives me immediate clarity. I don't have to retrace, go back and reconcile certain numbers using my bank statements, credit cards, cash, all of that. But I can just come into this tracker. I don't have to spend too much time and I can just think, can I afford this? Make that decision, move on with life. Everything is laid out clearly in one space. So you do the hard work once and everything else just makes it a lot easier. And that's really it. This is the exact process I'd use if I had to restart from zero in 2026. It's simple, it's repeatable, and it's what carried me from my very first paycheck of $2,700 to where I am today. Your situation might look different from mine. Your income, your responsibilities, your goals. But the foundations are the same. Get clear on where you are, set one direction for the entire year, and build a monthly plan around it. And track your progress in whatever way that makes sense for you. You don't need a complicated strategy. You don't need to overhaul your entire life on January 1st. You just need a system where you can come back to every month, even when your life gets noisy. And I promise, once you start moving with intention, everything will feel a lot more manageable. Your money stops being something that you fear and avoid, and it becomes a tool that supports the life that you want to live for. I hope this helps you start 2026 feeling a little bit more grounded, a little bit more confident, and a lot more in control with your finances. If you have any questions for me, leave it down in the comment section below, or you can scan this QR code and join my Telegram community. I hope this video helps you, and as usual, have an amazing week ahead, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye!